Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining us again. Hello, Susanna.
Hi, Abram.
Today we will be discussing guilt and shame. So, for right now, I will hand it over to Susanna and she will take it away. Thank you.
I'm sure that by just mentioning guilt and shame, a lot may be coming up for you. I know it does for me because there's a lot of our baggage is wrapped up in shame and guilt. And our shame begins when we're babies. We're shamed into changing our behavior. We're shamed by our parents during potty training. All of this, and this affects us. We may not remember what happens to us, but we sure will remember the feelings that we received from shaming, and there's no shortage of guilt either. And I think we've already heard the references to Catholic guilt. Religion pours shame and guilt on us, and so we're just full of it. Really, we're just really full of it. So I'm going to hand this off to you right now.
All right, thank you. I have no guilt. I have no shame. Why? I will tell you why. Thank you for asking. Because to recognize guilt and shame, I would have to take myself out of my own truth. Let us face it, everyone alive on your planet Earth has felt the effects of guilt and shame. You also, everyone. This is nothing to feel badly about. This is simply something to change within you and for everyone else to change also. Well, I should have said this when really I said that. I have guilt now. Or I should have not said that when I should have said this. Oh, I feel guilt. When you feel guilt, you shame yourself into feeling guilt. And shame is nothing more than a part of guilt. So which one outweighs the other one? Guilt is the heavy one. Shame is the lightweight one. But they work hand in hand. If you are in the experience of feeling guilt about something you did or did not do, said or did not say, should have done something, should not have done, you know what I mean. Realize you are just taking yourself out of your sense of truth momentarily. This is what guilt and shame do, and this is what they are. Removing yourself, taking yourself out of your truth. Because when you are in recognition of truth, your truth, there is nothing to be guilty for, about, or of. No really real reason to feel guilt or shame.
May I interrupt you?
Absolutely. Anytime you would like to.
Oh, great. Thank
Except for right now. No, I am just kidding.
How would you reframe it? How would you give it another definition of recognizing, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
All right. I know.
May I finish?
All right, go ahead. If you have to interrupt me again, I will deal with it. Go ahead.
And it's just a barometer or a meter that maybe we shouldn't do that again and let it go instead of carrying guilt throughout your whole lifetime.
Are you done?
You may continue.
Thank you. Just checking to make sure I am not going to interrupt you. What was the question? Oh, never mind. An easy way of framing all of this is if I were to say to someone who tells me that he or she is having guilt and shaming himself or herself, I would simply say, people out there say you create your reality. You created this. Let me clear something up, which I have talked about before. There are a lot of people saying you create your reality. I say you create your reality. But people tend to take that to the extreme. Well, this happened to me. I create my reality, so I created that. Why in the world would I create that? I really would not want to create that. There's an idea called co-creation. When you are with someone, and things happen all the time between people, all the time. When you are with someone, you are in your reality, you are creating your reality. Your friend is in your reality also. But your friend is creating his or her reality, and you are in that reality also. So you both co-create reality. So maybe you do not create every minute thing in your reality. Maybe other people contribute to your reality. So back to the question. A good way to frame all of this is to say to someone, or say to yourself, since I create reality, I can only create brilliance, honesty, and truth from my sense of truth. So then there is no reason to feel guilt or shame, because since I am in my truth, there is no room for guilt and or shame, or both. People take an idea and create it and recreate it again, just like your pandemic, recreating itself over and over again, and will continue to do that for a long time. So keep yourself safe. But when people recreate an idea over and over again, the truth of the idea gets lost. The basis, meaning, reason of and for the idea get lost. Then what do you have? An idea that has no foundation of truth in any sense of the word truth. Then the idea can be played out on someone else, for someone else, to someone else, given to someone else. Then guilt plays its role for the individual getting the idea that has been reworked and reworked and reworked and recreated and recreated. So if I were to say to you, you should not have looked at me that way when I was talking to you, that has nothing to do with you, everything to do with me. I am trying to talk to you in a certain way and allow you to talk to me in a certain way. And when you break everything down to its simplest form, everything is truth, everything. So look at guilt as being truth. And if and when you can do that, seeing it that way will negate all negative ideas that you place on the one idea called guilt. It is just an idea. So is shame. And again, they both work hand in hand. When you feel guilt about something, you are shaming yourself. You are taking yourself out of your truth. Thank you.
What about public shaming for corporations when they do something that's very out of line and the public in general shames them into changing their behavior?
Corporations, governments do things all the time to create shame for people. And they shame people in their way. Why? Because they are wanting something from people. And a good way to get what you want is to shame someone into giving it to you. This is what governments and corporations do. People put the pressure on corporations and governments to change their ways. But really, do they change their ways? No, they don't. They just get a bit worse. They shame and control and guilt more and more. Look at religion. As Susanna said, it is all about guilt and shame. All. If you do not worship God the all-loving, gentle God, he will punish you. Wait a minute. If God is all-loving and gentle, he will not punish anyone. Well then, who will do the punishing? You will punish yourself by taking yourself out of your truth and thinking and believing that you are ashamed of yourself, when in all reality, you are here and your truth is there. Bring your truth back to you. Thank you.
Let's go back to children, and I'd like to include animals. So children who basically don't have many life skills, and they believe and love their parents and believe what their parents tell them, and their parents use shame and guilt to make them feel badly and to change their behavior. What control do children have over understanding that's coming from the parents?
This begins at the age of 1.5 years to 3 years for children. Babies have no awareness of guilt, shame, success, failure, or anything. They are just creative things. This is what babies are, creative things. And they just create and create and create and create. They are creative lives. So your parents know everything, or so you think when you are a child. So what my parents are telling me must be the truth. The children then make that their truth. And that stays with them throughout their lifetime. Guilt and shame become their truth, remain their truth. And they are always the victim. Oh, I feel guilty about doing this, not doing that, saying this, not saying that, not understanding this, understanding that instead. I am just going to guilt myself until the day I die, and then maybe I will look at it in the afterlife and think, well, there was no reason to do that. Boy, I wasted a lifetime. Truth is the basis for and of everything, even guilt and shame. So as the child matures, he or she will have the opportunity to re-examine what his or her parents said and did. And they will have the opportunity to change their belief by changing their thinking about themselves, how they think about themselves. It might be a good idea for all of you to change your thinking, change how you think about yourself just a bit. Think one new thing about yourself a day, just one thing, not 10 things, just one thing. And I guarantee you, when you begin doing that, your entire reality will change. So as those children re-examine what their parents did to them, and their parents were just trying to be good parents, but they also have their truth being guilt and shame, so they pass it on. But the children, as they mature, they will figure it out slowly and come to the conclusion that, why should I feel this way? I did, what I had to do, what I learned how to do. And how did I learn it? From my parents. Thank you.
Now, animals, they don't know anything about guilt and shame.
Animals only know about living in the present moment in time. Can they reason things out? Yes, to a degree. Do they have thoughts? Absolutely. Do they have desires? More than absolutely. Do they dream when they sleep? Of course they do. Do they understand language? Of course they do. If you have a pet, I've said this many times, pay attention to your pet. Watch your pet. Look into the eyes of your pet. You can learn a lot about instinct, intuition, living in the moment, and life and reality. You have your sense of awareness. Your dog, your cat have their awareness, and your dog's awareness is far greater than yours. And this applies for all people, not just you watching this video, all people. Thank you.
So let's say someone comes home and their dog has gotten into the garbage, and there's garbage everywhere, all over the floor. And the person wags their finger and said, "You are a bad dog." And they cower and they look like they know that they've done something wrong. Is that fear, or is that an understanding that they did something wrong?
First of all, they don't know that they did something wrong because they do not know right or wrong, good or bad, hot, cold, yes, no, and all the rest. So the owner of the pet comes home, begins shaking his finger or her finger, and by the tone of the voice of the individual, that will cause fear in the dog. The dog did nothing wrong, was just being a dog, living in the moment. Fear is found not with words, but in the tone of the voice expressing the words. Thank you.
I don't have any other questions.
Then the only other thing I have to say is simply this. You have truth. You are truth. Be that every day of your life. And to be truth every day of your life, understand and realize that since you do create a reality, you also create co-creation. You create co-creation. Yes, you do. You have a pet to be a part of your family. You have a child to be a part of your family. You are a part of your child's family. You are a part of your pet's family. Co-creation. You're co-creating with everything and everyone. All of the insects that bother you, you're co-creating with them because they are in your reality and you are in their reality. This applies for nature, all forms of life. So stop thinking you have to be guilty about something because you don't have to be. Just bring your sense of truth back to you and live your truth. This does not mean that your truth is all about murdering someone. Absolutely not. If that is your truth, then you need to re-examine what truth means. It can mean anything. The truth I have been talking about is the truth of living in the moment, creating your instinct and intuition to work for you, and it will. And truth is all about rediscovering yourself with every moment of time. I've enjoyed being with you. Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you, Abram.
Thank you, my friends. I love you. Enjoy your day. And we will see you again.